Dear parents, I hope this email finds you all well and in good health. My name is Panchaud, and for those who don't already know me, we have an agency based in Switzerland called EDUCOM, who is helping parents in the selection of boarding schools, summer camps, university, worldwide. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you Mr. Tim Fish, Managing Director of Duke's Education. Good afternoon, Tim.
Good afternoon, Carol. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Tim Fish has been in the world of boarding schools, British boarding schools, for more than 30 years. I have known Tim for over 20 years, and he remains for me the most extraordinary person I have ever met in the field of education. Today, Tim has very kindly accepted to share with us his very big knowledge of boarding schools in Great Britain. So, Tim, here's my first question. What would you say is the benefit, the added value of a term, a year, or even more in a British boarding school?
Thank you, Carol, first of all, for your kind words. It's a pleasure to be able to share some of this information with you and your families. I would say the benefit for any student coming from overseas to the UK to a British boarding school, first of all, will be the improvement in language. Operating in the English language on a daily basis, whether in a classroom, whether outside of school, on a sports team, in a cultural event, obviously is far, far different from just learning a language for 4 lessons a week in a normal school situation in their own country. Also, apart from the spoken word, the written word in English develops enormously over even a period of 2 or 3 months, given that everything is delivered in English. So learning how to write a history essay in English, answering a mathematics question in English. It's not just, can I have a ham sandwich and a Coca-Cola English anymore that you may find on a very short course. It's something absolutely far, far different and much more valuable. I would think the major thing though for me, and I've seen obviously many students over many years, as you point out, the major thing for me remains the essence of personal development that a child receives, however old or young they may be, over that 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, 3 years or more, whatever it may be. The personal development means a child learns how to solve problems for themselves, learns how to become far more independent, not only in mind, but in action, in being able to forge friendships, and perhaps even judge friendships in a way which is far more, I think, objective than it normally is when they stay home, go to school, come home, go to school, etc. So personal development, cultural awareness, all these things are accelerated when a child goes away from home to a boarding school.
Thank you. Could you describe a little bit what would be a day, a week of a boarder?
Certainly. First of all, I would say it's quite structured. Most school days are structured, I appreciate that. But when you're living in a school for 7 days a week, 12 weeks a term, then the structure becomes the binding agent. So this means that students don't have to worry so much about normal life. They go to meal times when their friends go to meal times. They have certain free time, obviously. But I think as outside of the normal academic timetable, importantly, the homework timetable is there for them. They sit down without any concern, about any worry, about fear of missing out, about perhaps reaching for a mobile phone, because they have dedicated time to take care about doing the homework to the maximum of their ability, perhaps for 2 hours, 2.5 hours a day at a set time. And this is of great value.
What about, many parents worry about the weekends. What happens on a weekend? Will they not get bored? Are activities or excursions something organized for them?
Normally, a school will offer a variety of things at the weekend. Some very traditional schools will actually offer academic teaching on a Saturday morning. And many schools offer sports. This may be competitive sport on a Saturday morning or afternoon, playing against other schools, whether it be netball, hockey, swim teams, rugby, and so on. So all that happens at weekends as well. There are often in-house events. So the pastoral care team who look after their students may arrange a pizza party, a film night, competitions, fun events. And at the same time, there are always trips, cultural excursions that perhaps may be going to London to see a musical, a play, the latest Picasso exhibition at the Royal Academy. All these things are available at weekends. Something that we mentioned earlier, free time. Of course, we can't underestimate the value of free time within a structured timetable. And it's important for teenagers to have that downtime and to keep in contact with friends and family at home as well. So weekends tend to be that mix of activity, relaxation, homework, and inevitably getting ready for Monday morning school, just like they do at home.
What are, just in general, very briefly, the requirement for a foreign student to the entry admissions requirements?
Most schools will ask for some form of language assessment, not because they will fail anybody, but they need to assess the level. And therefore, the English level may involve a written test, it may involve a Skype interview, it may involve something which actually involves a little bit of group work, who knows. But the level of English will be assessed, and then that means that it's much easier for the school to support the student from overseas in their academic studies. Also, sometimes a maths test may be required, but I would say the most significant thing is that interview in terms of the school's interaction with an applicant before enrollment. And significantly, the role of the educational counselor or the agent who may be advising a family, it is their recommendation, which is very much highly valued by any school.
Okay, thank you. And the Skype interview, the interview can be done through Skype or Zoom or any other way?
Exactly. It doesn't have to be in person. A number of schools obviously invite families to visit and come and have a tour of the school, see the school for themselves. And of course, everybody's always welcome to do that. For some people, because of commitments, work commitments, is impossible to do that. And therefore, yes, Skype, Zoom, whatever technological advantage we can find to get introduced to a student beforehand, we will use.
Well, thank you, Tim, I think, for your precious time and for a very, very clear explanation on what would be really the benefit of a boarding school in the UK. To you all parents, thank you for taking the time to watch our little video. If you need any more information, don't hesitate to contact us on www.educom.ch. And for the meantime, thank you, bye-bye, and please keep all safe.
Thank you.